She cut me off, not just from her phone, though that was the first step. One fight too many, one slammed door, one more silence too heavy to break, and she was gone behind walls I couldn't climb. Messages stopped delivering, her Instagram disappeared, even our shared playlist was erased. It was as if she couldn't stand the thought of me still echoing in her music. I stared at screens too long, thumb pausing over her name, replaying the last argument like a play that never made it past the first act. But it wasn't only digital. She shut me out of her life, completely. No warning, no final words, just a silence where her voice used to live. I didn't even blame her right away. What stung me most was how much it felt deserved. I wasn't easy. I see that now. I worked too hard, listened too little. I thought paying bills and booking vacations counted as love. She told me I wasn't really with her anymore, even when I sat beside her. She wasn't wrong. The night it all unraveled, we weren't arguing about anything big. Just the laundry. She asked me to fold it. I said I would. Hours later, she asked again. I snapped. She snapped louder. Then she looked at me with glassy eyes, picked up her phone, and said, I need space. I thought it meant a night apart. I didn't expect it to mean forever. That first week, I cycled through it all. Anger, denial, hope. Maybe she'd text. Maybe she'd remember our years together. The road trips, the rainy mornings wrapped in blankets. But she didn't. So I did what I always do when things collapse. I withdrew, focused, built walls of my own. If she needed distance, I'd give her an entire universe. I started detangling our lives. Closed accounts, changed contacts, rewrote paperwork. At first it felt cold, mechanical, but soon it felt necessary, like peeling away wallpaper, one layer at a time. She wasn't coming back. And even if she did, it wouldn't be to the man she left behind. What surprised me was how much of myself I lost in the process. The version of me who remembered her coffee order, who stayed awake until she was home safe, who memorized the rhythm of her breathing at night, he faded. In his place was someone quieter, different. Not bitter. Just changed. I found an old photo while sorting boxes, her in a yellow bikini, Cabo 2019. The sun catching her eyelashes, me looking foolishly in love. I stared at it for a while before sealing it away in storage. Decluttering, I told myself. But really, I was grieving. I still wore my wedding band for a while out of habit. Then one morning, brushing my teeth, I simply decided it was time. I slipped it off and put it in a drawer. That day, I blocked her too, not to get even, but because I understood the truth. Sometimes the only way to honor what was is to let it go completely. 47 days passed. Not that I was counting, but my heart kept score. 47 mornings with her side of the bed untouched. 47 nights with one coffee mug in the sink. The quiet was deafening. I caught myself pressing her old cardigan to my face once, then dropped it into a donation bag like it was toxic. That was the day I began rebuilding. I canceled memberships, shifted finances, sold the dining table we never used. I wasn't angry. What cut deepest was how easily she let go. No betrayal, no big reveal, just a quiet decision to stop choosing me. So, eventually, I stopped choosing her. One evening, reviewing accounts with an advisor, I told him to remove her name as my beneficiary. It was a simple checkbox to him, but for me, it felt final in a way nothing else had. She wasn't just blocked from my phone anymore, she was erased from my future. On day 48, her name flashed across my laptop in a FaceTime attempt. One ring. I declined. A week later, she sent a request for $142.86 for a shared streaming service. I laughed and ignored it. Soon after, I went to a dinner party. Almost didn't, but I went. There I met Samantha. She laughed too loudly, interrupted people, but she leaned in when you spoke as if your words mattered. We talked about books and road trips. It wasn't flirting, but it was the first night in months I forgot to check my phone. Walking home, I realized I hadn't thought about my ex once. It wasn't triumph. It was peace. Closure, I learned, isn't something another person gives you. You build it brick by brick in silence. The last time I saw her, it was at the farmer's market. a place we once loved together. She was with someone else, his hand resting on her back. Our eyes met briefly. No smile, no wave, just recognition, like passing a stranger you used to know. And then she turned away. That was when it clicked. She wasn't blocked. She was gone. And maybe our story was only ever meant to be short. That afternoon, I burned the last note she'd left me. The one that said I was her favorite place to come home to. The paper curled into ash in the fire pit, drifting into space. A week later, I booked a flight to Lisbon. Not to escape. To begin. Before I left, a letter arrived with her handwriting. No return address. 1 page. She admitted she didn't know how to carry what I'd given her. That she thought space would save us, but all it did was show how far she'd already drifted. She said she hoped I was closer to happiness than she ever managed to help me reach. I folded it, slipped it into my passport like a finished chapter. On the plane, watching the ocean stretch endlessly below, I realized something. I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for a text. Not for an apology. Not for her. I was free.